My name is Shekhar Reddy. I am the global lead for partner development, and I focus on technology and creative partners. I'm with Amazon Advertising. And I'm super excited to have some really exciting panelists on our stage today. Before we get started, I see a lot of familiar faces in the audience. So show of hands, how many of you have been to Accelerate before? Maybe this is your second or third time. Don't be shy. OK, this is a good mix of repeat and new customers. OK, every marketer's dream. This is my second time at Accelerate. And this is quickly becoming one of my favorite events at Amazon. I've been here for 12 years. Why do I love this event so much? There's a strong sense of community I've noticed here. Everybody who shows up here wants to share, wants to help each other, wants everybody to build a better business, even when they're competing with each other. And at the same time, there's a strong muscle for curiosity. Everybody wants to learn more, what's new, what's innovative, so that they could then go back and teach their customers or build a better business. So for those of you here for the first time, please come back. Every year it gets better. I can guarantee you the food this time was way better than the last time, too. People who are part of this community and have been doing it for a really long time are our two panelists today. From AI-driven personalization to advanced targeting, full funnel optimization, to seasonal planning. Today, we'll explore and learn what are some of the trends that our experts are paying critical attention to, and what are some of the questions that they're asking, which is super important. And whether you're here today to explore new capabilities or you're here to just optimize your existing strategies, I hope you'll walk away with an insight or two today on how our experts are assessing opportunities, prioritizing them, and also acting upon them. You will hear from them firsthand with very specific examples on what are the top advertisers doing, what is working and what is not working, and what does it mean to be a good partner. It's a two-way street. In order to get and maximize this partnership, I implore you all, not just about finding the right partner, it's about what do you do after you've found them and how do you extend your skill sets to make this a better partnership. Without further ado, please join me in welcoming Corey Burham, who's the VP of Business Development at Global Overview, and Jun Choi, who's the SVP at Xnerd. Hey, guys.
Hey.
How's it going?
Has it been a busy week?
It's been a great week.
Great week.
It's been a great week. We couldn't have asked for more beautiful weather. Thank you, Seattle, for cooperating.
And I love this venue. Last year, I did one of these sessions where we didn't have a window.
Oh.
And my prayers have been answered.
Feels like a cave.
All right. We have about 30 minutes. I think that should be good to go through some of the questions that I have for you. June, let's start with you. Your favorite word I heard is AI. Is that true?
I guess so, yeah.
All right, so AI is rapidly evolving in advertising, and I think we can all agree it's part hype, but it's got a lot of real potential.
Yeah.
How do you see AI transforming advertiser effectiveness, let's say over the next 18 months?
Yeah, I think even in the last 6 months, 12 months, and even if you look in the next 18 months, what AI has been so effective at doing from our point of view is taking a lot of those high frequency, highly manual tasks that sometimes machines are actually better at doing. So for instance, a machine is better at not sleeping, looking at Amazon 24/7, looking at the budgets, looking at the bids, where people have to sleep.
Right.
And I think a lot of the best advertisers, agencies, brands that we work with focus on how do we maximize the AI component, which is a lot of these high frequency, highly manual tasks that can and actually should be automated because it performs better. So things like budget and bid optimization, budget and bid day parting, keyword negation, keyword harvesting. Those are aspects where a lot of the times AI is very good because it can look at so many different things, and it can look at it every single day, every second of the day. And so as we think about even in the next 18 months, I'm sure everybody has heard of something called ChatGPT at this point. But I think as that continues to evolve, and even as we look at large language models and a lot of these tasks, again, that are highly manual, like reporting. So if you're an agency, you're probably spending over 50% of your time reporting or creating these reports, where our thesis is, how do we help agencies, how do we help brands focus on those highly manual tasks that can be automated with a couple clicks of a button, and then allow for much more strategic levers that they should be focusing on instead.
Great. Corey, anything to add from your end?
I'm completely on the same page as June. We think AI is we're in a really exciting moment with AI.
Yep.
The places that we think it's going to be able to take us, the ability to help agencies and brands and advertisers really scale. And we're just like at the edge of what's about to explode. Even this morning in the general session, 3/4 of that general session was about the AI that Amazon's developing, and they only touched on, probably a fraction of the things that are actually in work. We love to use all of their AI audiences that continue to get better and better and better. I think one red flag or caution is just, as your teams use AI, make sure there is someone in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
We know the AI is only as good as the data it's been trained on or the prompts that it's been given. And too frequently we see brands who allowed AI to not just do things like bid optimize, but really run the strategy. And AI doesn't fully understand consumer behavior at this point. So be excited about what AI can help your team scale, but make sure you really have a person who has a deep knowledge about how to be successful, how to develop a strategy, and keep the business on the right path.
So if I'm sitting in the audience today and I'm listening to these valuable insights and I'm going, oh shoot, it's already too late for me, or there's still an opportunity for me to start planning today in the hopes of maximizing potential, what would you say to somebody who's thinking along those lines?
It's definitely not too late.
Yeah.
I would say this. I think either you're excited by this or you're scared about this, but this is the worst AI is ever going to be. So AI is only going to get better and better. It's not going to get worse and worse. I think everybody has seen that at this point. And so if you're not doing it today, you can start today. But if you don't start today, the delta between you and somebody that started even 6 months ago is only going to increase. And so I think that's where the, not necessarily fear component, but a little bit of urgency should come to mind, where, hey, if I don't do things today, and if I don't learn about maybe AI, or if I don't test and learn at the very least, the delta of somebody doing it 6 months ago is going to get exponentially greater than what I was doing before. And so I think you can always look at it as like, hey, I'm not starting today, but if you don't start today, or at least test and learn, again, the delta is only going to get bigger.
And we've talked about this before. For those who are hesitant to start because they're nervous or cautious, this is not a one-way door. There's a ton of room for experimentation and still have that control. Yeah.
I think Corey was 100% spot on. Like, AI should never be set it and forget it.
Right.
That should never be the instance. It should always be a co-pilot. So the folks that are managing the campaigns, managing the relationships, they should set the strategic insights. They should be a part of that strategy around DSP and sponsored ads, budget allocation. But then the AI should be able to support a lot of those tasks that they're doing already that are taking up 40 to 50% of the time. That actually is better, as I said, with AI.
Yep. Now, as the technology evolves and becomes more interesting and exciting, we also know for a fact that the customer behavior is fast changing too. I, for one, believe that the traditional so-called customer funnel or the linear path of purchase is no longer true, and the customers are seamlessly traveling up and down the funnel, right? So with that context, how can our brands and sellers today effectively think about blending both brand and performance marketing strategies to capture both in-market buyers and also think about how to grab the attention of upper funnel audiences?
I'll take that one. Brands have to think about media as an integrated approach. To look at lower funnel and upper funnel separately, to look at performance and brand marketing as separate things is such a mistake, because they're there to support and complement one another. So if we're not looking at it from an integrated lens, we're already doing it wrong. And we need to make sure that they are working to help one another be better and be more efficient. For us, one of the things that we really focus on is being really clear about the distinct goals of each phase of that funnel and the tactics that you use within the phase. We can expect that streaming TV should behave like sponsored product ads, and our metrics should not look the same, right? But what we do want to understand is that our streaming TV ads should ultimately make our sponsored product ads more efficient in the long term. So it's how do these things work together in the long term to make the best, most efficient outcomes for brands, and it's blending the whole funnel together. We have to make sure that we're doing that. You have to set clear expectations, and then don't necessarily use traditional ad KPIs to look at total performance of your business. You don't get to take, ROAS to the market or to the bank. You need to make sure you're looking at building and growing your holistic business. So frequently we have brands come to us and say, my business is stagnant, but I've got a great ACOS or I've got a great ROAS. Look, your media is not working. If your business is stagnant, it's not doing the thing that it's supposed to do, which is building your brand awareness and ultimately growing sales and driving traffic. So making sure that you always are zooming out to look at the big picture and ensure you're continuing to stay on track and not just hyper-focused on each individual metric as you go.
Yeah, and to that end, Corey, when customers do come to you, do you have set frameworks through which you understand their needs and problem statements, or is it more along the lines of case by case, in which case I wonder how easy it is to scale? So would love some insights on how do you work with your customers?
So it is very custom, right? We want to make sure we're achieving your particular goals and objectives, and that's the first thing we're going to ask you. What is it that you're trying to achieve? And don't just say growth. What does that look like? Be really specific about, I am trying to achieve X% of growth using these priority segments of my business. From there are more prescribed ways to grow. If you have a consumable business, the equation's not that difficult. You have to continue to drive new to brand. If you believe in your product, you believe that there's going to be repeat purchase, new to brand is the game the whole time. So how are we focused on really driving new to brand? Because we know we're going to continue to pick up that repeat, and then monitor those metrics, right? Make sure the repeat is happening. We're continuing to drive loyalty. Subscribe and Save becomes a fantastic tool for us. But new to brand is really king at continuing to fill that funnel. When it's hard lines, everyone is really new to brand, right? If you're selling a blender, you're probably selling one blender a year. You're not going to be selling 15 to the same guy unless he happens to have a kitchen, a restaurant. So it's for that. It's again continuing to really fuel that funnel of I need to build my awareness and continue to drive new customers because that's my total focus of really getting my message and my value proposition out there.
I was just going to say, I think if AI is my first favorite word, I guess, AMC might be a close second. And I think even if you asked me maybe 3 years ago or 4 years ago if full funnel was a buzzword, I would have probably been like, yeah, I think it actually is a buzzword. I think AMC has completely revolutionized what full funnel actually means. And I'll give you like very specific examples of with AMC now, you can, with sponsored ads level targeting, everybody knows it's very efficient, keyword level targeting, high intent. With AMC now, you can understand what are the best, let's say for new to brand, what are the best keywords that are driving the most new to brand sales for sponsored products. Okay, great, we're also running DSP. Let's create AMC custom audiences to retarget anybody that searched for that specific keyword but never purchased. And so you're starting to leverage all of that sponsored product, sponsored ads data, and then tie that back into your upper funnel to actually create that full funnel synergy that was missing before AMC. And there's other tactics like everybody could go do this tomorrow where pull an AMC report, look at the overlap analysis and understand, hey, what are the highest converting combinations of ads? Because a lot of the data that we've seen is if somebody sees a sponsored product ad, yes, they'll convert at X rate. But if they see a DSP and a sponsored product ad, then they convert at a 20% higher rate. So then you can start working back into your models, your math, and actually really understanding like what are the full funnel strategies that you can pair together that actually drive efficiency for your business that I don't think you could have done 3 years ago.
Totally agree. And Corey, quickly going back to you, so I agree with a lot of what June has shared, both in my own personal experience and direct customer feedback. And I would imagine not all of these solutions are homegrown for you, such as AMC expertise, just making an example. So how are you thinking about acquiring that skill set? Are you partnering with other partners? Help us understand how this landscape of partners is evolving a little
100%. So our team definitely utilizes AMC, but we do use third-party resources like tools to help us better visualize what that AMC path to purchase looks like and helps us create those visualizations for our partners. We completely agree. AMC has come so far in the last few years. When Amazon launched AMC 4 years ago, it was like, oh yeah, this is the next coming of Jesus, isn't it? No one really knew what they were doing, and today it's allowing us to be so much more efficient and more effective. And our providers, our tool providers, not only help us with some of the measurement pieces, but also with those custom audiences, which I would say is the real gold mine of AMC. Yes, the measurement is super helpful, but then taking that data and creating those custom audiences that you can find the most relevant, most efficient shopper for you has been so instrumental in really growing brands.
Absolutely. So really quick for the audience, might be obvious for some of you, what I love about what just Corey shared is the fact that by virtue of working with one partner, you now have the access to multiple partners. So in that sense, it's a true force multiplier. So if you're constantly thinking about choosing the perfect partner, I think starting somewhere might be a great way to do it.
100%. I mean, we all want to focus on the things that we're good at. Xnerta is great at development, right? They have fantastic developers. Tech is their bread and butter. We know that that's not our strength. Global Overview is a people-centric business. For us, we look at full representation of our clients on Amazon. The person is our core priority. We have teams of specialists, functional specialists that manage the whole business, but we do need to rely on tech from third-party partners to help us scale that skill set. So for us, we've got really the brains of the person combined with the wonderful tech providers that really help fuel the back end for us. It's great to have a partner who has those resources and can utilize them, and then allows you to sort of sidestep that process, especially if you don't have that strategic lens in-house. Not having the strategic focus means you're going to be using tools, but you don't really know what you're doing with them.
Totally. I mentioned at the top of this talk earlier that we want to learn a little bit about seasonal planning. So Prime Day is very fresh of mind. So I'm curious what in your experience were like some key insights and learnings that you picked up this past July that you think our customers could right off the bat apply to Q4 holiday planning, plus specifically Black Friday and Cyber Monday?
We take tentpole at Global Overview very seriously. Prime Day is huge. Turkey, we're going to call it Turkey 28 these days. It's the whole month. Turkey 5 is huge for us. We have a large consumable business. New Year, New You is a big time for us. And the reason that we lean in so hard is because we see the huge impact that tentpole can have on a brand's business. Truly, if you lean in to tentpole, you get to set a new floor for your sales post tentpole. Let's be clear, you're going to have huge event days. Your sales aren't going to stay up there. They are going to drop. But they're going to be at a level that is well above where you were prior to those event days if you do take events seriously. And for us, it's really 4 key things that helps us drive the event and have a successful event day. And I'm going to toot our own horn for a second. We heard that this Prime Day was a challenge for a lot of different advertisers out there, right? 4 days was tough. There was no real urgency for the consumer to convert. Global Overview performed 30% year over year from the 2 event days in 2024. So for us, this was another fantastic event. And the reasons are, number 1, lean in to the lead-in. The lead-in matters. The 2 event days or 4 event days or 28 event days, whatever they happen to be, it's great to participate then, but prime that audience. Plant the seeds early. Get them coming back to you. You know what's more efficient than prospecting on event days? Retargeting on event days. If you take the lead into the event seriously, the first 2 weeks leading into it, you've got an audience who's already interested in your product. You can re-communicate with them and get them to convert during that event. So lead in, absolutely. The power of promotion is real. Number 1, the types of deals that you're using so that you're getting badges, because that's what the consumer sees in the search page, right? You want to make sure you have those deal badges. But then also for Go, we saw 25 to 35% discounts, saw 5x the conversion rate of products that had no discount. Really consider the right products for you to discount. We understand not everyone's going to discount their whole portfolio, but it is going to really create interest in your brand and then have new to brand shoppers for you to retarget in the future. And that's a big one. Prioritize new to brand. Yes, you are going to have your repeat customers who want a deal, but this is your time to find new shoppers who are going to love you and come back for more in the future. And I gotta tell you, I don't know the real reason why, but when we look at past data from Global Overview, we find that new to brand shoppers that we acquired during tentpole have become our most valuable shoppers in the long term. The LTV on those shoppers and the frequency of purchase is much higher than shoppers who were acquired later in the year. And then the last piece is flexibility. Be super flexible with your ad mix. Coming back to this full funnel idea, of course, we're gonna have all different types of ads running, but during the event, we wanna see which ones are actually working best. Last Prime Day, what we saw was that cost per click was going through the roof on certain category keywords. And so we had a bunch of great brands who were flexible with their budget and let us reallocate to DSP, which became the most efficient prospecting tool that we had during the event. Work with your partner, make sure that you guys are on the same page about what can be reallocated, but you want to be able to pivot in real time to make sure you have the most successful event possible.
No, I think that covers it very well.
That was a
I was like, wow, okay.
And we're done.
Sorry.
I mean, honestly, that was fantastic. The only thing I would probably add on are two things, just like something that anybody could do tomorrow, is typically Prime Day shoppers are very much discount shoppers. They're looking for discounts. And so it's a really effective way to not only target these Prime Day shoppers, but with AMC, you can now look back to the previous Prime Day, to the previous Q4s, to the previous Black Friday, Cyber Mondays, and understand within that time period who's started shopping on your specific detail pages. So they're already brand aware, and then they're discount shoppers, and they shop during Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Probably a good pool of people to start retargeting for Black Friday, Cyber Monday for Q4. The other thing I think would be really interesting for, again, anybody in this room to do is, as Corey mentioned, customer lifetime value is something where we've seen that ROAS is a little bit of an outdated metric. There are ways that I'm sure everybody can game ROAS in specific ways. One of the interesting areas that we've seen is customer lifetime value or lifetime value ROAS. Because if you're a CPG company, especially with now AMC extending that look back window from 12 and a half months to 5 years, you can actually, we've seen folks completely restructure their budget allocation across their campaigns because they're actually seeing that this specific campaign, even if it had a 2x ROAS, drove way more total sales with that 12 and a half month look back window than the 4x ROAS. And anybody here could go tomorrow and pull that customer lifetime value ROAS campaign by campaign and just look at directionally for Q4, is that the right budget allocation, or should you be thinking about it a little bit differently? Like I would encourage almost every single person in this room to do so because it actually opens up insights that you probably didn't have before.
I so agree with that, Gene. And that tracks consistently with the shift that we're seeing where the focus is moving away from tacos and ACOS and measurement having multiple dimensions for that. Is measurement a core focus about how you help your customers, and are there any exciting problem statements that you're looking at as it relates to measurement?
Yeah, I think the lifetime value ROAS, that was one of the examples. I think the ACOS ROAS, again, I think those are core KPIs that anybody's gonna look at for their entire business. But some of the ones that we've seen work really well outside of just ACOS and tacos is we've had some of these brands that come in and start looking at branded searches as a KPI instead of just ACOS and tacos, because AMC has opened up this entire purview of is full funnel, is my upper funnel actually driving X? And so with that insight in mind of understanding, oh, actually, this specific Prime Video campaign that we're running drove X amount of total sales, but the cost per branded search after we ran this campaign decreased by 20%. And why is that significant? Because now if somebody's typing in our brand and they're more familiar with the brand, the conversion increases by X%. And so they started doing a lot of this different mental math modeling throughout, and they found that it's not just the direct ROAS that these specific campaigns drive, it's all of these different KPIs that are now adding on where the impact is much bigger than just ACOS or tacos.
Totally.
In that vein, my colleague over there, Dory Wendling, just did a speech one floor below us, or a session, and one of the data points that she brought up was for brands who are investing in full funnel media that we've seen year to date, their total, ad attributed ROAS was 30% higher than brands who had only invested in lower funnel media year to date, which is super impactful. And we can talk ROAS, right? We can have this ROAS conversation where 30% higher for total ad attributed ROAS. But I would bet you, if we looked at each tactic and we looked at the ROAS of each of those tactics, the upper funnel media would not have looked good. But that's the point to what June is saying. It's this blended impact that all of these campaigns have together. They're supposed to complement and support one another. And so when you look at your total media, you're seeing efficiency. But if we're just zooming in and looking at ACOS or ROAS on a tactic by tactic level, you're going to get scared and pull away. But that's not the right approach. When you're really looking, you're really invested in full funnel media, you got to make sure you stay in it, because that is what the upper funnel is doing. The upper funnel is creating that branded search and making your journey much more efficient by the time they get to conversion. So completely agree, totally on the same page.
These are very powerful insights, guys. I want to land this with providing some very specific advice, if you will, for the audience here. But in order to do that, show of hands, how many of you here work with an agency partner to help you with your campaigns? Okay. What about a technology partner? Few hands. And freelancers? Very few. So you have a bird's eye overview of the kind of audience we have today. Like, how can they be better partners for you? Like, I bet you look at the roster of your customers and go, this is a great partner. Share with us a life in the day which will make somebody a great partner for you and what they can be doing better.
Okay, so I told Shaker this already. I love this question because nobody asks us this ever. But it's any great relationship, whether it's professional or a personal relationship, it all has the same core principle of strong communication. Have strong communication with your partner. And to me, that's three things. Be really clear about your goals. Let us know what you're trying to do. And it's, again, not just growth, but I want X% of growth in this period of time on these products, focused on this. Be really clear so that we know what we're trying to achieve. All we want to do is please you. We're all people pleasers. That's why we work at agencies. Help us get there. Let us know what we're trying to achieve together. And then number two is remember that this is together. One of the things that we say is we like to, we're an extension of our partners' team. We like to wear their logo on our jersey. We're an extension of you. Be transparent with your partner. Let them know what's going on. Let them know what your challenges are, what your headwinds are, what your management is telling you, what the data points that you have outside of Amazon look like. Be really clear, because the more information you give them, the more successful they're going to be. And then the third thing, and this is really hard because I'm from Minnesota, and I don't know if you guys know what Minnesota nice means, but really what it means is we're passive aggressive, and we really don't come out and tell you like the hard, honest truth. Be really clear. If someone's not hitting the mark, let them know. Give them a chance to be better, right? We can't be on the same page if we don't know what page you're on. So just be super transparent with your partner. They want to do better. They want to meet your needs. Let them know when they're not, and give them a chance to get better.
I did not know about the passive aggressive.
It's real.
I'll keep an eye out for that.
I'm from Seattle, so passive aggressiveness is definitely something that I know well. I would say this.
For the record, that's not what we want to take from this.
Not where we wanted to shift that conversation. I would say Global Overview is a fantastic agency. Like, they've been one of the original players from the very start. I think us as a tech provider, and the key things that we always push our partners, our agency partners, anybody that we work with, and anybody that we speak with, is test and learn. And I think, honestly, the best example I can give is, like, I remember when, I think some people are probably gonna roll their eyes because I see very familiar faces in the room. I tell this story all the time where, like, I remember when I was at Amazon and sponsored ads just came out.
Right.
And I was like, hey, this is a really cool product. You guys should take a look. Advertiser A. They're like, no, this isn't gonna work. And now, like, 10 years later, and it's one of the best ad products out there on the market. And the folks that were testing it, I literally saw like 100x ROAS for the first person that ever bid on the keyword mattress as a mattress company. And so I think as you start to think about those things, you have that advantage of, with AMC still early on, figure out what the right questions to ask your agency, your partners, and all of the specifics, not high level. Go into the tactics, go into the specifics. How should we look at upper funnel versus lower funnel? How should we look at customer lifetime value ROAS versus regular ROAS? And I think those are the questions that if you start asking now, especially for Q4, those are the things where people are going to be much more successful. And it's not just an incremental 5%. We've seen folks that have year over year not increased their ad budget and increased their total sales by 25%, just because they dove into AMC. So I think those are the things where I would really start to take a look at, test and learn, AMC, ask the right questions, and if you're not educated on AMC, become really, really educated on AMC so you can ask the right questions.
Yeah. Well, Corey and June, thank you so much. I think what you are doing for our seller customers and just the overall community in large is like truly commendable. It makes our jobs easier. So really appreciate it. Thank you for your time.